Hey there, party people. A few days ago, I saw The Hunger Games for a second time. I also saw it in IMAX. I haven't been to an IMAX film since Inception. I saw Inception for the second time in IMAX. I don't know why I saw The Hunger Games in IMAX. I know I wanted to see it again. Just because I thought about it a little bit, and, it was a blockbuster, so I just wanted to see it one more time, and seeing it in IMAX just seemed, well, one, it was the only version available to me. If there had been a normal version, I probably would have seen that, but, I don't know, I enjoyed the IMAX just because, it's just huge and loud. And makes for a great movie-going experience. I definitely had a lot more fun this go-around watching The Hunger Games. I almost want to give it an 8, but I think I'll settle on my 7, which I gave initially. I think I've pretty much got, kind of what I want to say down. The Hunger Games is about a futuristic dystopian America. They've had some type of civil war almost 100 years ago, and since then they have the winning, faction, whatever they might be called, makes the general populace give up a child. A male and a female from each district. They divided the country into 12 districts, and each district must offer up a boy and a girl under the age of 18 to battle to the death in the capital. So that's pretty much what it's about, and it follows the trials and tribulations of mainly one, but two contestants from District 12 as they fight the Hunger Games, or experience the Hunger Games at least. Stars Jennifer Lawrence, Woody Harrelson, Stanley Tucci, Lenny Kravitz, Amy Adams, Amy Smart, I can never remember her name. Donald Sutherland. There's so many young people that I don't know. This is a young people movie. I think I've pretty much got the big ones, at least. I can't remember any of the young people's name other than Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence does a great job. I think I didn't mention in my first review, I think it's very convenient for her because I found Katniss, the character she plays here, to be very much like her character in Winter's Bone. They have very similar backgrounds and kind of story arcs even. So I felt that, the people making this film, as soon as they saw Winter's Bone, they must have known that Jennifer Lawrence was going to be their Katniss. Because, she nailed it. Meaning that I don't think she had to stretch her legs too much. She had already... This was familiar ground for her. So, again, a convenient performance for her. And something that is now going to rocket her to probably superstardom. But if you want to see her give pretty much, the same performance plus some, please rent Winter's Bone. It's a very, very fine film. All the acting is really good. I still think, I mentioned in my first review, there must have been some time when they just got together as a group of actors and decided what would some general behaviors be in this populace, in this society. Because I thought that every adult, and really every kid, they had like the same kind of background, basic character. And then just did their own little unique twists of that. And as I thought about it while watching, the movie, these are adults who have lived through the Hunger Games. I mean, the Hunger Games have been going on some 80 plus years, and so everyone in the film has, pretty much lived through the Hunger Games, has been up, on the block at one time or another. So I, thought that was interesting that, these are pretty much adults who have, had fear driven into them. And these are young people who are currently having fear, and helplessness driven into them. So that was, unique, and it made for like a cohesive performance. Again, everyone was just kind of slimy and reptilian, I thought. Even like, the quote-unquote helpful people seemed to be kind of reptilian. It was written, I can't remember by whom, directed by Gary Ross. Gary Ross did Seabiscuit. I believe he did Pleasantville, where they get sucked into the TV. This is, good work here. There was some really unique, use of screens, and then like the way they showed what was going on at multiple angles just by showing these gigantic screens that they have everywhere. So at times I thought at least the setup, the frame was, very well established. I thought like I was seeing things for a while. It was kind of tricky. I don't know whether to give that more credit to the director of photography or to the director, but there was some really well, set up shots. This was a big blockbuster. There was a lot of money that went into this. You can tell it's technically, very good. The costumes, everything about it, the set dressing, just everything pulls me into this futuristic world where, I'm not exactly at ease. It's still the same, but, different. Some things I didn't care for. First of all, I felt like the characters kind of disappear after a while. We never really too much emotionally invested in characters other than Katniss and probably her male counterpart, who I can't... Peeta. They are, probably the two most fleshed out characters that we actually, feel emotion for. I didn't really care about anyone else. A little bit about Woody Harrelson. I wanted to know more about his background. But really just the characters kind of disappear, especially Amy Smart's character. She's there, and then it's just like after a while I realized that she's not there anymore. I've never read the books. I'll try not to repeat that again. I've never read the books, so I don't know if how true it holds to the novel. Perhaps she disappears halfway through the novel. But, she's just gone, and that's just the most extreme case. But it just seems like some characters were left, like, out in the open, and I have no idea what happened to them. They just kind of went away, faded away. And that includes Lenny Kravitz, and to a lesser extent Woody Harrelson. You just don't get to see There's no capper on it, you know, and again, maybe there's not supposed to be. I have no doubt, and they are going to make the 2 other films. I thought Donald Sutherland was really good. He was probably my favorite character. He was the bad guy. I mean, he's the president, but he's also the bad guy, and he's very oily and creepy, and Donald Sutherland doesn't really get to play bad guys much anymore, it seems. That he gets to play the wise old mentor, but here he gets to play a bad guy, and I found, you know, he had this charisma, kind of this snake charmer charisma, and I really enjoyed him, and he also ends the film. He's pretty much the last thing you see in the film, and that also kind of stuck with me. I really enjoyed his character and his performance. Wes Bentley is also in this. I keep on forgetting him. As I guess the game runner or something. So I didn't really care for the characters kind of disappearing. I thought that they should have had a more finalized, you know, arc. Also, again, this is just something that keeps it from a higher rating, but I mentioned that I had a lot more fun watching this one, because, you know, I pretty much knew the story. You know, again, this is the second time I'd seen it, so I, you know, had seen it before. And this time, what I noticed more, and what I had a lot more fun with, was the camp. You know, this, not only is it a good film, but it also, I feel like it honors like old school kind of science fiction in the fact that, you know, old school science fiction is kind of campy. And you get that camp here. And I don't know if they necessarily mean it, but there were several times during the film where I laughed out loud. And I was probably the only person laughing out loud. But I couldn't help it. I thought it was hilarious. And it's all due to this like cheesy camp kind of like cliches in a way. It really all has to do around Rue. I found Rue to be kind of hilarious, and she wasn't supposed to be. Even thinking about it now, it's still funny. But I also thought the death of Rue, I hate to, I don't think I mean to spoil it here, but the death of Rue I thought was like overdrawn, because I never really cared about Rue. I mean, I guess she does help out the character like a lot, twice. So she did stick her neck out, but we still don't really get to see her much or get to know anything about her, other than she likes to cause trouble and likes to help people who can't defend themselves, which, you know, whatever. And then she dies, and like the film stops for like 5 minutes as everyone, well, as Jennifer Lawrence cries and whatever, and like, okay, you know, how is that death any more important than any other deaths we've seen? Whatever. So it just, the fact that I'm laughing inappropriately, I just can't really give it much higher than a 7. But, you know, I had a lot of fun. You know, it's fun to sit there and laugh at something. I don't really know what else to say. Again, I had more fun this time. A fine film. I kept on telling myself that this was like a kid's movie, a teenager's movie, and that, you know, I shouldn't think too much about it or whatever. Just go with it. And if you just go with it, it's a good time. You know, it's really fun, and well made, well acted. You know, so it's a good movie. So I'll pretty much end it there. I think I've said all I want to say. So that's The Hunger Games. It's for the second time in IMAX. And it's a solid 7. You know, I'll stick by my 7. Thank you very much.